Hi, I'm Gene McLoughlin. I'd like to welcome you to Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. On this program, the mayor chats with you about things taking place in the township and introduces you to people making those things happen. Mayor, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Gene.
Mayor, I think an appropriate place to start would be congratulations.
Thank you so much, Gene. I appreciate
a victory
it. Thank
last
you.
week.
And thank all the residents of Old Bridge who came out in force and gave me a good shot in the arm they needed after a tough 4 years.
Yeah,
it was a
back
tough couple of months.
Floor.
Yeah, I met a lot of nice people again, banging on doors, and I was getting a great reception as I walked to town.
Right. So I heard.
And I'm glad it's over.
I bet you are, and your council associates, your at-large associates
Yeah, it
also
was a total sweep. Our
back.
ticket came in. Dr. Greenberg's a new addition to the council.
Right. Mayor, what did you find the key issue was as you went around?
Well, Dean, I thought I had a real good track record, a record of accomplishment over the last 4 years. When I took the town over, I'm getting tired of saying the same thing.
Right.
It was a mess when I took it over, and the town's a lot better than it was. Financially, service-wise, equipment-wise, everything is just better in the town than it was 4 years ago. And the residents agreed with me, and we had the numbers and the statistics to prove that the town was better, and everything we had the opportunity to touch, to get our hands on, we made it a better place.
Mayor, it seemed to me, our impression, we've discussed this, it was a tough campaign, though.
It was.
Versus your opposition.
It was. Sometimes it was really depressing when you saw the things that were being said about me, and they were just, you couldn't be any wronger, about not working hard, and just, I don't know, it was difficult to see that influx of, I'd like to call Hudson County politics came to Old Bridge.
Really?
When you get mayors of big towns up north putting money to get somebody in. That's not right.
Right.
But the old, I was confident, and I had made peace with either way for myself. If the residents of Old Bridge wanted to go in a different direction, I was okay with that too.
Right.
But I knew I can continue. It's going to be a tough, I'm not putting my feet up on that desk, and I'm never going to say mission accomplished. We always have something to do here, and we will continue to work hard and continue to improve the finances and the service and giving the residents of Old Bridge everything they deserve.
Well, that's fantastic, Mayor. I want to wish you the best of luck going forward.
Thank you, Gene. I look forward to our shows for another 4 years.
For another 4 years. Huh? Yeah. Okay, Mayor, I know one of the topics that did come up during the campaign was the situation with heroin abuse here in the township.
Right, and that was one where I was blamed for that addiction.
Right.
They blamed it on Mayor Henry. When he took over, the heroin came to Old Bridge, and it's been running rampant, and that was just not true. We've tried to do everything we possibly can as an administration, as a mayor. First of all, I admitted we had a problem here in town, and I say it all the time. There are mayors who will not say there's a problem, and that mayor is not being honest with his residents. And the goal as mayor is to save as many lives as I can. Every life is worth something here in Old Bridge. So I know we have a drug addiction, but it's not my fault.
No.
It's not my fault, and I believe we have made positive gains. I believe we have saved lives in Old Bridge. I think it's, we're going to get it. We're going to tackle this. We have another 4 years to work on it. I'm confident that we are going to make a difference. We're not going to save everyone. There's been drug abuse and alcohol abuse going on for decades. So we're going to continue to try to make it better. And I think we have a lot of tools in town to try to make it better.
Okay,
and I think that's why we have the show here today.
Mayor, I think you gave me my cue to introduce our guest, folks. As the mayor has alluded, heroin abuse has been a topic of some discussion in the township, and today we're going to introduce you to some people that have made a difference here in the township and are making a difference. First of all, a lady who has been with us before, Maureen McLoughlin, who is the founder of Families Against Addiction. Maureen, welcome.
Thank you, James.
And Colleen Conti. And Colleen, I understand you are the parent of a recovered addict.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
And folks, we're going to be discussing this entire topic with Maureen and Colleen and what takes place during this whole process. Maureen, if I can start with you, we've talked a lot about your organization in recent visits here. How are you doing with Families Against Addiction? Membership programs growing?
Well, each week we usually have, we hope for new members to come in because it's very difficult for them to actually come in and show their face because it takes years usually for them to come in. And we actually have our on-site meetings at the library every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. Our meetings take place there, and we tell our stories, and we have a nice, comfortable atmosphere for everybody to speak up, because usually your family members don't want to hear it anymore. Nobody wants to hear it. Your coworkers don't want to hear it. Your family members don't want to hear it. But we will listen to you today, tomorrow, and forever. We will listen to you always. So come to us and tell your story, and it's a slow process, and families recover.
Your membership,
colleagues in our group.
growing? Numbers of people growing?
Yes, it is. We're also on Facebook, and that's growing. I also have a Facebook page, and that's growing. And I also have a website that you can contact us, because we recently, not too long ago, became 501c3.
You mentioned that. What does that mean?
What it means is that we're tax deductible. We can hold events, and people can donate money to us, and they can take it off on their taxes. It helps us to actually apply for grants, and because the bottom line of usually for everything is we need money. We need money for advertisement. We need money to help the families within the group. That's why we just recently had an event in the Menino Park. It was a dog walk, since everybody loves dogs. And that was our first annual dog walk, and we had 7-piece band there. We had Mr. C's from Rutgers University, grease truck there, and we had a great time. We had 50 dogs at register. We had about 120 people, and they were very, very generous. Even a young girl that's in one of the middle schools came up to me and said she wanted to give money to my organization, and I thought perhaps something happened in the family. And no, the mother said she's very civic-minded, and she gave us quite a bit of money, and I wrote a letter to her to acknowledge that in our town that we do have the young people that are trying to help.
Okay, well, thank you, Maureen. Colleen, if I may ask you, how did you become associated with Maureen's organization? You indicated off the air that you have a boy that is a recovered addict. How did you become involved with Maureen?
Well, when my son came home to live at our house, he was addicted, and my sister-in-law saw Families Against Addiction on Facebook, and she had told me about it. So it was days after my son came back into the house that I attended one of the meetings, and I haven't stopped going since. It was a tremendous help for me from day one, as far as I didn't know how to deal with a heroin addict. You know, like I didn't know what the right thing to do was, what the wrong thing to do, what to expect, what not to expect. And they're a group of people that all have a child that's an addict, and they've been through things that I hadn't gone through yet. Just their experiences and their advice and just listening was a tremendous help. And I don't know that my son would be where he is today, or my family, or myself. You know, I often think if I never found you guys, I would probably be crying and miserable, and my whole family would be miserable, and we would just be living with it. You know, with that silence and tolerating, and you know, just the lines of communication are open, and you know, knock wood, my son is.
Well, good. I'm glad. You know, Mayor, it does come back to what we talked about, though, the need to do something. As you said, I think this organization is definitely.
And there's a success story. That's what we want to hear in Old Bridge. There is hope, and I think Maureen preaches that there is hope.
Dope to hope.
Right, dope to hope.
That's what I say, dope to hope.
That's a good point. And the one question that always nags at me, Maureen, is that, we've discussed this before, and Mayor, you and I have talked about it. What makes heroin so attractive, particularly these young people, that they start down this path?
Well, it's very cheap. It's very inexpensive. It's
but I mean, the very fact that it's a drug, regardless of the price.
It's the whole, there's no stigma on the street. It's okay. It seems to be okay. Oh, let's get high on heroin. Let's see how it feels. It has, the word is that it has this great, fabulous high. And I think that a lot of the young people today, they're curious. They're curious. It's cheaper than taking opiate pills. And sometimes it usually starts from there, and then they go into the heroin.
Mayor, I know you've heard quite a few of these stories in your 4 years here.
You don't wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to be a heroin addict.
No.
You start off somehow innocently or on purpose through an experimentation, and you get addicted. And if you get addicted to an opiate that's not available any longer, it's too expensive, you will satisfy your need with that $4 or $5 bag of heroin. And as you know, it just in more and more bags, you would require to. I guess your body builds up an immunity to it. It takes more and more
tolerance
levels.
Yeah.
So it's a
And it's easy to
runaway
get.
train that they get on.
Yeah, as an older person, I just find this, as we've discussed, I just find it scary. I really do. In our day, it was beer and a cigarette maybe,
Yeah.
but it was hardly as damaging
Exactly. You know.
and as painful as this addiction is.
But older people today have become victims of this.
Sure.
That's what I was gonna ask you about, yeah.
Because there's a lot of crimes that are
Yeah.
created
Oh, yeah.
in the homes of older victims, like especially the grandmother, the family members.
Yes.
And they're in denial, and they don't think, oh no, not my grandson, not my granddaughter, and everything is gone. Everything is robbed from them. And if it's not in your family now, today, it's going to be in your family tomorrow,
Well.
or somehow you're affected by this some way, shape, or form.
Well, to that point, Colleen, were you in denial when you heard about your son, or how did you find out that your son was abusing?
I knew that there was drug abuse there. I didn't know that it was as bad as it was, because
Yes, ma'am.
when he came home, it was as bad as it gets. I was, I don't know, I guess I was in a little bit of denial.
Right.
I was hearing it. My other kids were hearing it from other kids in the neighborhood. How's your brother doing? I hear he's pretty bad, things like
Yeah.
that. And they were coming home and telling me this. And I knew in my heart what they meant. I didn't really want to face it, but eventually I had to. And, it was bad.
What impact has this had on your family, on you, your spouse, the other brothers and sisters?
My kids are, I'm not just saying this because I'm their mom, but they're a great bunch of kids.
Yeah.
They really are.
Sure.
He's got 5 brothers and sisters. And, when he came home, he is on the couch in my living room. And I have said to him, you're here, not behind a door. You're getting no privacy. You're on the couch. We're all watching you. We're watching your mood swings, your comings and your goings. One night, I worked nights in a hospital. One night in the middle of the night, my 15-year-old daughter called me and she said something's wrong. She thought something was wrong with her brother. He's crying. And I said, what do you know? And my stomach dropped. I'm like, it's the middle of the night,
Sure.
And I got in touch with him the next morning at work. And that make a long story short, he said, why did she think something was wrong? I said, because she thought you were crying. He said, I was watching a movie, Mom, and I said, well, just understand that we're all paying attention to you, and we all talk to each other, and he goes, I understand, and he's grateful for it. But just, I said, you're under our watch all the time.
Is that necessary, Maureen, that kind of watchfulness, and is that how you ease a person toward treatment?
I think in order for them in the beginning stages of recovery, they need their families to actually watch what they're doing.
Really?
Like Colleen said, a great point about his mood swings, because they will go through these mood swings because now they're clean.
Yes.
So they could be very irritable, very belligerent. Their actions, they're still not the person that you want to see. They're still not the son that you knew. So when she said that everybody was watching, and for him to know that, it's a comforting feeling that their family is still there, backing them, supporting them. They're not giving them drugs, they're not giving them money, but they're supporting them emotionally. You need emotional support.
What is the treatment process like?
The treatment for the addict,
addiction,
or the
for an
treatment for the
abuser?
family members?
Yeah, for the abuser, that the family has to support.
Well, usually they go into a detox would be
Right.
the first step, and after a detox, depending on their need base, they would go into a rehab, either 28 days, it could be long, could be 3 months, could be 6 months, depending on, every situation is a different situation. It all depends. Then after they come out of a rehabilitation facility, they either go to a halfway house, a sober living house. It all depends on the level of how well they're recovering, how well they're in recovery, and whether they want to comply, whether they want to,
That was one of my
that's
questions.
a big part of it also.
That was one of my questions. Your son was in agreement, obviously, that he needed this, that it was enough.
Oh, yeah.
And it was time to move on.
But he was never going to make the call.
Really?
No. With the prompting of Maureen and the group, after I guess I was there maybe 8 weeks. I finally made the phone calls myself because I realized that he wasn't ever going to do it. He wanted to help. And the day that I got someone to call me back, he happened to walk in from work, and I handed him the phone, and that was the beginning. Now, he never went away to a detox or rehab. He didn't want to do that.
Yes.
He didn't even want to go to an IOP, which is an intensive outpatient program.
Yes, ma'am.
But he did agree to, going to a
Counseling.
counseling place where he sees a counselor and a psychiatrist, and there's weekly meetings. He opts not to do the meetings, but he sees the counselor and the psychiatrist. They put him on medication. He stopped using heroin or any opiates. He's on the medications from them, and it's a slow process. But he's so normal now.
Really?
Whatever it is that they're giving him. And then he took up surfing, with something he used to do when he was healthy, and he'll do that sometimes 5 times a week. He doesn't want to go to meetings. He doesn't want to, be in that situation. So this works for him. It's a different. That's what we're saying. Like, not every person is going to recover the same way. For my son, he's not going to sit in a basement of a church drinking coffee in a circle with people talking. It's just, it works for a lot of people,
sure, yeah.
but it's not for him. Getting on his surfboard, even now, he's got the wetsuit and all that kind
Really?
of thing. That does something for him. He'll go just to get in the water for an hour, So
That's fantastic,
different
Colleen. It
things
sounds
work.
like he's made considerable
we
progress.
stress
Yeah.
that in the group.
Folks,
Individualized.
excuse me if I may. Well, folks, we're getting ready to take a break right now. We've been discussing with 2 ladies from the area, Maureen McLoughlin, who is the founder of Families Against Addiction, and Colleen Conti, who is the parent of a recovered addict. Please stay with us. We'll be back in a moment to talk further about this situation taking place in the township.
A smile. It's simple, really. Yet, it can do amazing things. It can show how we feel. It can brighten someone's day. It can even change the course of our lives. But what would life be like if you weren't able to smile? For more than 1 million children, this is their daily struggle. It doesn't have to be this way. Since 1999, Smile Train has been helping children experience the simple joy of a smile that so many of us take for granted. To learn how you can help Smile Train change the world one smile at a time, call or go to smiletrain.org/learn.
Folks, welcome back to Old Bridge Outlook. Today we're talking about heroin abuse, the problem with substance abuse generally here in the township, what you can do about it. The group's available to help people, and we have a lady here who is taking advantage of Families Against Addiction with her son, who is a recovered addict. And Mayor, if we can turn to you a little bit on this. Got to be a tremendous resource to you to see this here in the township.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been so active, and we've had many shows on this. Having a resource like
Yeah,
this.
very fortunate to have someone like Maureen who's so passionate about this,
Yeah.
and to run a program like here in Old Bridge. We're very fortunate. The people in Old Bridge are very fortunate about that. And I solicit for, I go out and please,
Right.
if someone is looking for an organization to support financially, now that they're a nonprofit organization, write a check, $50,
Really?
$100. Get
Yeah.
give this group the tools that they need to fight this. The way they're doing it with their families, because it means so much. Obviously, we see it does work.
Right, it does. That's what I'm very impressed with. Thank you, Mayor. Maureen, off the air, you mentioned a couple of key points I think that we should reiterate. And that is, with regard to someone like Colleen, it's important that people do something when they're confronted with a situation with an abuser in their house, yes?
Yes, I think they should do something. Should be structured. Something should be done. Whatever they want to do. It's very individualized. If they want to go to an NA meeting and that works for them, fine. If they want to take up a certain kind of a hobby and they want to meet different people that are also in recovery, fine. Say ball playing or surfing, as Colleen's son has done. If they want to go to a counselor, fine. Whatever it is, whatever suits them. And what the thing is about opening up the communication, getting yourself
Right.
to talk. as the one that has substance abuse disorder, they're the ones who have to speak out more. They're the ones who have to talk to a counselor, talk to other friends that are family members also, so just like Colleen and her family. They're all there. They're all emotionally supporting the son, and now their communication has opened. It's at a better level. It's at a healthier level, the communication in their home, and that's why the process is working.
Yeah, and you also mentioned about having everybody be on the same page.
Yes, because in the group sometimes husband and wife would come in and they're not on the same page. It varies. The husband wants to kick the son out, the wife doesn't want to kick the son out, and they fight and they bicker, and their loved one who's addicted watches this argument and this anger and this dysfunction go on in the household. So what we do in the group is we really try to make them aware of what they're saying. So it's all about words. It's all about what you say, when you say it, and how you say it.
Okay.
And who you're saying it to. So we work on that. That's a very big tool. We work on listening, to listen to your addict so you can better understand what he's going through. And it'll help you to understand what addiction really is all about and how it is a disease.
Okay, thank you, Maureen. Colleen, where are you now with your son? What do you see happening? What do you see taking place going forward?
Right now, he's, I'm going to say, like 4 months not using. It's baby steps.
Yes.
Of course, the biggest thing was to not use drugs anymore. The second thing was to deal with some situations that I was taking care of for him that he's taking care of now himself. And now he needs to focus on a reliable means of transportation, ultimately getting out on his own, those kind of things. I feel like everything that I taught him from adolescence to his, early adulthood, we have to redo it.
Reprogram.
Because it got kind of
Restart.
lost.
How old is he, if I may ask?
He's 29.
29.
Yeah.
And he is in the process, you say, of recovery?
Yes. And I tell him, I wait for you to do the right thing.
Right.
And if it takes too long, then I have to say something.
Right.
And he's fine with that. I said sometimes I feel like I'm coming down on you a lot. Every week I have to say, we need to talk about this or about that. But he's grateful. He said he'd rather me be like that than, he said, I can tell when something's bothering you. Moms, we wear it on.
Moms, right.
Oh yeah, it's we don't need to say anything. So that's really important to just open up and talk about everything. And it was just like he does work and he makes good money, and he just needs to learn to. An addict won't, if they stop doing drugs, they're going to start. He's a buyer. We'll go to Walmart and buy this and buy that, and buy this and buy that. But after a while, okay, that's fine. But you need to start looking at using your money, put it away. You need a better car. You're going to end up wanting your own place. You don't want to be on the couch for the next 10 years or whatever.
Right, sure. Takes a tremendous amount of commitment and patience on your part.
Well, he's my son.
Yeah.
I love him, and like I said, his brothers and sisters are great.
Good.
But she's not angry.
And not
so
angry,
they
I
lose
noticed
the
that.
anger, and she knows how to talk, like she said. She's great, and she has a conversation. They have a talk.
Okay.
Something's bothering them, they will talk it out.
That's fantastic.
And so if it goes a little slow, so be it. It will get there.
You've got a great thing going there, Maureen, I'll tell you. If we can switch gears a little bit, Mayor, we have chatted about this too in the past. Every now and then we run into a situation where we have, unfortunately, a drug overdose. But there is something now that the police are using that I know you're espousing, something called Narcan.
Yes,
I want to
but
tell
this is
people a little
called
bit about
naloxone.
Narcan.
This is naloxone. This is a trainer. And what it is...
What is Narcan in the first place?
It's a reversal for an overdose. If somebody is going through an overdose, the opiates are going to go into your brain.
Yes, ma'am.
But this, if you put this in your body, this medication, it will stop the opiates from reaching the brain. And so your brain will think, there's no opiates. There's no opiates. So immediately you go into withdrawal. So you could either throw up,
Really?
you could be a little combatant, like, disoriented, you don't know what happened, and you basically could also say, scream and yell and curse at whoever, saved your life. What did you do? What did you do? And then you can go the next day and get high. So, but it does save your life, because once you're dead, you are
You're dead. Yeah, so we don't want that. Now, the
So-
police have these now.
The police do not have this particular
Okay.
one. They have the nasal
Okay.
Narcan.
Is this
This is
something
called
your group-
naloxone. This is a trainer.
Yeah.
You pull it out.
Trainer contains no needle or drug.
This has no drug, so it's a trainer. You pull this
To
out.
inject, place black end against outer thigh.
It tells
then
you.
Press first.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Injection complete. You saved the life. How long did that take? If somebody is ODing, you're in the middle of a crisis, you're panicking, you're screaming, there's a lot of drama going on. You take this out, you pull it apart, you just jab it into your thigh, you saved a life.
Are you distributing this Narcan to your members?
We brought Overdose Prevention Agency in to our Families Against Addiction group. I brought a group, 24
Right.
people actually we had in our last group, and we distributed these little kits, and there's 2 in each kit. There's also the trainer that will help you you practice on it.
Yes.
You'll get this in the kit, and you'll get 2 with the drugs inside of it. And you'll get that for free. We're going to have another meeting soon, and I usually post this always on Facebook or email, and I get the word out.
Okay, thank you, Maureen. Mayor, I know in past shows we've talked about your personal experience with this being used and to save some lives.
Hey, we've seen it work. We've seen it. Yeah.
That's just amazing, amazing. Maureen, if I may, what would you say to the residents who may be plagued by some of these issues, who may have abusive family members who are getting in trouble with drugs? If you just would turn to the camera here and just speak to these people, what would you say? If you look at camera 3, what would you say to these people?
Well, the first thing I would say is that we're here to listen. We're here, Families Against Addiction wants to listen to you. We have a very cohesive group. We care about each of our members. We care about our families. We want to hear your story. We don't care. We don't care how dramatic it is. We want to listen to you. We know that your family members don't want to hear you anymore. Your coworkers don't want to hear you anymore. But we want to listen. We will never get tired of listening. So come into the library every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock and tell us your story, and we will go from there.
Okay, well said, Maureen. I want to thank you for coming in today. You're doing wonderful work. All the best going forward. And Colleen,
Thank you, Gene, for having me.
thank you for coming in and sharing with us, and good luck to you with your boy.
Thank
Hope
you very
everything
much.
works out well.
Thank you.
And want to thank you both for coming in again. And folks, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in a moment. The mayor and I have some township business to discuss. But again, thank the ladies for coming in, and do listen to what they have to say. Families Against Addiction. We'll put all the information up on the end of the tape. Okay, stay with us.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Folks, before we go, the mayor and I just want to touch on a couple of upcoming events that you should be aware of and perhaps take advantage of. Mayor, I know we've had some discussion about the Old Bridge Business Alliance, and it seems to be flourishing a lot more now.
Yes, Gene, there was a big article in the paper,
Right.
2 weeks ago.
Right.
The first meeting was held at the iSIMS building over by Parkway, exit 121.
Yes, sir.
Well received. We had a lot of people there. There was a full, 2-page article about it. Mr. Stephen Mack is working out of my office, put this business alliance together for a specific purpose, to get the businesses together, to get them networking.
Right.
And we have our second meeting coming up on November 9th, I believe.
November 19th.
November 19th, right.
Yes, sir.
At Benzies. So if you want to,
at 6 o'clock at the Shops at Old Bridge, Bensie's Restaurant. And again, the idea is to promote a way for businesses to get
come on
together
out.
and connect with each other. Huh?
yes.
And Mayor, along with that, they're going to be promoting something that we're calling Shop Small Saturday. And that takes place on November 28th. And I understand from Steve that this is a broader initiative, I think, sponsored by American Express.
I believe so, yes.
And that's going to be taking place throughout the township and to shop small shops here in the township.
Yeah, but just shop in Old Bridge, I like to call it. Yeah, come to
yeah.
Old Bridge and shop.
Shop
I
in
mean,
Old Bridge.
yeah, there's a lot of small stores here in Old Bridge, and there
Right.
are some big box stores also.
Right.
But I think the emphasis on the small store, maybe that unique item,
Yes, sir.
the custom-made stuff, the jewelry stores. Consider buying a present for someone. It's a little unique, a little different, maybe handmade.
Right, and make a commitment to the smaller shop
Exactly,
owner here in
right.
the township, particularly with all the surrounding
Yeah,
big box stores.
It's tough for small businesses to make it.
I think it has
We've
to
seen it. I've seen it from going and cutting ribbons. These people are taking on a tremendous risk.
Oh, yeah.
Opening up these businesses. So people in Old Bridge need to visit them and spend their money with them because they've made a commitment to Old Bridge.
Right. Okay, Mayor. Folks, just to reiterate, if I may, Thursday, November 19th, 6 o'clock at Bensie's Restaurant in the Shops at Old Bridge, there is this Business Alliance dinner. And if you're a small business owner, it's a great opportunity for you to get together, have a chat, connect with other small business owners. And that's going to connect to this Shop Small program that will take place on November 28th, a Saturday, where the people in the township are encouraged to make a commitment to these small shop owners here in the township and buy from them to bring back the small shopkeeper. Okay? The other thing, Mayor, coming up is this on November 21st, the second annual Old Bridge Service Awards. What's that about, Mayor? Who is your Old Bridge hero?
We have a group in town from our mosque that want to honor some of our local heroes.
Right.
This year we will be honoring Ruth from our CERT program. She runs our CERT program here in town. And we're also going to be honoring Rose from our food bank, who runs our food bank. These are two volunteers. They put a tremendous effort into what they do, and they give so much to our community. So this is going to be a Thanksgiving dinner on the 21st.
Right.
Come here. It's going to be in here for the first time in our senior center. You'd have to call and just come and get a dinner and take part of the ceremony where we honor these two local heroes.
Tremendous. And folks, if you are interested in participating in this second annual Old Bridge Service Award, as the mayor said, it's from 4 to 6 p.m. in the Old Bridge Senior Center. You do have to pre-register for this meal, Thanksgiving meal, at 732-610-3778. So we encourage you again to be aware of that. And lastly, Mayor, we early this year, I think, the tree lighting ceremony.
Yes.
November 30th.
November 30th. Yes.
Hardly seems possible that we're at Christmas already.
With the weather the way it's been so
I know.
warm.
I
I
know.
mean, last year was so cold this time of the year. So it's a big. It's coming though. Cold
it's
weather will be
coming,
coming, but the
yep.
Christmas tree lighting and menorah lighting is on November 30th.
November 30th at 6:30 p.m.
Before the council meeting.
Before the council, yes, sir. And Mayor, last but not least, maybe we should give this a plug again, Ham?
Yes.
The Township Magazine, a newly published booklet that talks about the township. Mayor, how's this been going?
Very impressive, Gene. It's a professionally published document with a lot of information in it. I encourage all Old Bridge people to go pick up a copy. You can get it here. We have them here, and it's also available at some select businesses around town. Get a copy of it. It's full of a lot of good information.
Okay, well, thank you, Mayor. And folks, that's just a couple of things we wanted to make you aware of. And Mayor, before we go, again, congratulations on the victory.
Thank you, Gene. I appreciate
you look
it.
like you're breathing a lot easier.
I don't know. I tell you, it was tougher this time around than it was the first time
Seemed to
around.
be. It was
a little tougher for me,
Yeah.
emotionally, physically.
I'm sure.
I had nothing to lose
Right.
4 years ago, and everything to lose this time around. So it was a difficult process to go through, and my running mates were great.
Yeah.
A lot of support. We had a lot of support from a lot of good people throughout the whole
Yes, sir.
town. We put some good team together, and I can't thank them enough.
Well, again, congratulations. I know we're going to be talking for the next 4 years And we'll be talking again before year end.
Hopefully it'll be a little calmer than it was.
Okay, yes.
But we're going to continue to work hard.
Okay, well, thanks again, Mayor.
Thank
And
you,
folks,
Gene.
This has been Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. For this time, we've covered a lot of ground today, talking about the heroin abuse situation here in the township with these two contributing guests. And the mayor and I have just reviewed a few events. We'll put these all up on the screen for you. Want to thank you for watching. Want to thank you for supporting Old Bridge Television. I'm Gene McLoughlin. We'll see you next time. Take care.